Come on, guys, we're better than this. Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we have another Equestrian Reacts video, and today we're going to be talking about the infamous Sox the Stallion. So if you're an equestrian and you're on TikTok, then you have definitely heard of Sox the Stallion. I think some people are calling him TikTok's most hated stallion. I don't like that because it's not about the horse. It's not the horse's fault. It's never the horse's fault, okay? It is always the people involved. So if you don't know who Sox the Stallion is, I'll give you just a little snippet of information so that you are caught up. Basically, Sox is a chestnut stallion. I think he's about 19 years old, and he has some behavioral issues, as many stallions do, but his owner kind of seems to think that for the most part he is well behaved, and that the rest of it is just like, oh, he's a stallion, and sometimes even uses him as like a how stallions should react around mares example. And at this point, I think it's honestly just rage bait, because like she's got to know at this point that that he's not a good example of how a stallion should behave. But quite frankly, that's not my problem, because I've seen a lot. I mean, I do have a problem with people who excuse their stallions' behavior because they're stallions. But that's not really my problem, because a lot of people have stallions with problems. A lot of people have horses with problems. My problem is when she uses him as an example and then just tries to act like this behavior is normal, because it's not. It's incredibly dangerous. Some of these videos get me very frustrated because somebody is going to get hurt if something doesn't change. So this video was posted about a month ago, and it's making the rounds again, and this is the quote-unquote full uncut version of Sox going to stud for the first time.
Nice thing.
Already there's a problem. Not with the horse, with the handler. Did you catch it? Let's watch it again.
Nice thing.
Did you catch it that time? Okay, I'll slow it down. So if you haven't figured out what I'm talking about, it is this pesky little hand right here who will not seem to stop yanking on this horse's face. Now, my problem is not yanking on the horse's face, because sometimes you have to do it. I'm not getting mad at it from a, oh my god, you're hurting the horse standpoint. That is not at all what I'm saying. My problem is that there's no reason for you to do it, because if you're going to do it so many times over and over again, and she continues to do it, if you're going to do this over and over again the entire way to the barn, you see, and she just keeps getting stronger and stronger, what is the point? You're not getting a response out of this horse. Everything that you do with your horse has to get a response, because all that you've taught this horse is that the yanking on the face doesn't mean anything, because he didn't respond to it. He didn't go, oh, I'm sorry, I need to check myself, as he should have. Or at the very least, he should have gone, oh, he should have had some sort of reaction. He didn't have any reaction to it and continues to have no reaction to it, which means it doesn't mean anything. A lot of people do this. I see this all the time with so many people with their horses. If you do it so many times, constantly, over and over and over again, like repetitively in the same moment, and you're not getting a response from it, it doesn't mean anything. All your horse is learning is that they're gonna feel that on their face and they don't have to do anything. A lot of people think that they're, being the alpha, being strong in control. If you don't get a response from it, you're not being anything. And you can watch as she's doing it, the horse just starts getting more agitated. She's going stronger, stronger, stronger as she gets into the barn. And oh my god, he freaks out. He starts rearing. She keeps yanking. She keeps yanking. He starts rearing. Completely out of control. Who could have seen that coming? Anyone? Now, it's not a requirement for every horse person to know how to handle a stallion, but if you own a stallion, you have to know how to handle them. And you also if you have a horse, you have to know how to handle them, and you have to know what works and what doesn't. And a quick yank, maybe 2, maybe 3 to the face is going to work for a lot of horses to get them to go, oh, sorry, right, I need to check myself. But if you're doing it over and over and over again from the field to the barn, non-stop like that, and your horse doesn't respond to it, it means it doesn't mean anything. You had zero control over this horse this entire time. All you did was egg him on. All you did was make him more frustrated and act out more.
Sox knows exactly when to behave, and he knows exactly when he can be himself. When he's been ridden, he's excellent. And the old Bob along to him. Yeah!
Oh, good boy, Sucky.
He's excellent around children and nanas. If you take him into the stable.
Where's my boy?
I allow Sox to express himself when he wants to. Allow him to play with me in the field.
Oh, he's a good boy.
All there is to it, and there's nothing else we can say. Like, he knows when to behave, he knows when he can act naughty. Don't you yawn like I'm boring you. Am I boring you?
I don't think he does know when to behave, because there are several videos where you show yourself telling him to stop and to stop being naughty, and he doesn't. So I don't think he does know. There's also a difference between just, allowing a horse to be themselves and staying safe with them, okay? The horse can be themselves and behave. The reality is that you have to have boundaries with your horse, okay? It is okay for you to want to play with the horse, encourage them in the field, but you can't let them have any dangerous behaviors when they're on a lead line. When they are on a lead line, they have to be safe, because you're not the only person that handles your horse. And even if you are right now, so for example, typically me or my trainer were the only people that handle my horse because she lives outside full time, so none of the staff handle her. But if an emergency happened and she had to be taken out of the field, someone else would have to handle her. And if your horse knows that they can just sometimes be themselves when, an adult is handling them, they might pull that on someone else. And God forbid something happen and someone else has to take care of your horse for a while. It's the same with dogs. It's the same with any pet. The reality is that we have to set our animals up to be able to thrive without us around. And a part of that, especially for horses, is them being safe.
Sox didn't have an easy start to his life. He was very poorly as a yearling. He almost didn't make it. He then went to 4 different trainers who couldn't break him in. Different methods were tried, but they all failed. I eventually met him as a 4-year-old, and right from the start we just clicked. I did a lot of long reining him around the lanes. When I first sat on him, I was alone, and we have never looked back since. I can't train him like other horses. He has a very specific personality that I have never encountered before. He has to be handled with care. He is very loyal and will do anything for you once he trusts you.
Just because your horse had a rough start to life doesn't mean that that gives them an all-access pass to put your life in danger.
Sox is wearing a simple head collar and lead rope. Because he is so polite and well-trained, there is no need for him to have a bit in his mouth. Also, because of his impeccable manners, there is no need for a stallion chain. Most stallions would need a chiffney when they are in an open space passing mares in season. But not Sox. He knows the boundaries, and so I can trust him in a head collar. It takes a lot of trust in a horse to be able to do this. And because I have owned him for so long, we have a great bond. This relationship allows him to be his unique self while still doing his job. And he is extremely good at his job. He is also great fun to have around. Happy horses always work best for you. Stallions communicate with their mouths and can be nippy. But mostly they are just interacting with you. Sox is a good example of a well-behaved stallion.
Personally, I would not call him an example of a well-behaved stallion. But that one clip of taking him to the field, that is the only time I have actually ever seen him be decently behaved, to be completely honest. I would call that pretty well behaved for a stallion, that one moment. But all horses communicate with their mouths, not just stallions. All horses are gonna nip to communicate at some point. Like that's not specific to stallions.
Naughty.
Yeah, firmly telling him off really worked.
Naughty. Naughty.
Telling him naughty doesn't mean anything. He doesn't speak English.
Be a good boy now. Be a good boy now. Good lad. Nice and calm now. Good boy.
If letting him have his moment means him rearing and potentially striking at you, don't let him have his moment, okay? A horse needs to know that rearing and potentially striking at you is never, ever, ever an acceptable option. That can't happen, okay? That cannot ever happen. I don't care if it's a stallion or not. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'm a professional horse trainer because I am not. I am not a stallion expert. If you're looking for advice on how to train your stallion, I'm not the person to come to, but I can tell you that if letting your horse have their moment when they're on a lead with you means letting them rear up at you, he does not get to have his moment. He can have his moment when he's out in the field, not attached to me and not putting my life at risk, okay? If one of those feet hit your head, you'd be done. That is the reality. Telling him naughty is not a correction. You have to actually correct his behavior. Like, if he's gonna keep doing that as you're going that way, after the first time, you should have turned around and walked back the way that you came. Then walked him back out. Keeps happening, disengage his hindquarter, make him move, like, get him listening to you, whatever it is. Even if it slows you down getting him to the field, you have to get him listening to you. You have to keep taking him back inside until coming out is actually a safe, like not until he's 100% perfect, but until it's safe. That is not the proper way to handle a stallion. Now again, a lot of people have stallions that behave badly. My problem with this account is that she markets Sox as a well-behaved stallion, as, you know, what a stallion should be, and that's just not true. And she says, oh, here's how you handle a stallion in this situation, here's how you do it safely. None of this is accurate, okay? Like, that's not how to handle a horse. Like, you didn't do anything. The horse just learned that he can do whatever the hell he wants. Again, your horse cannot be allowed to just do that kind of thing when on a lead with you. Doesn't matter if they're a stallion, doesn't matter if they're walking past a mare in heat. He can have his moment, put on his show when he is in the field on his own, not when you are handling him. When he is attached to you, he has to, at the very least, not buck and rear. And with just those two things excluded, there's still a lot of room for misbehaving, but he needs to, at the very least, not be bucking and rearing when you're handling him.
Okay, victim number 1, 8-year-old Elsa B. Victim number 2, 11-year-old Samuel. And victim number 3, 84-year-old Nana. Who will lead Sox the best?
First up is an 8-year-old.
Take him into his stable.
Now time for Nana.
No, you're not holding the right thing on. That's it. If you take him into his stable. And you get more sweeties. Welcome. Good boy. Oh, good boy.
Who can lead the horse from the arena to his stall with no distractions, walking 10 feet, doesn't prove anything. And thank God this horse does know who kids are, and what a kid is, and that he has to be careful with kids. Thank God. But this was incredibly irresponsible. Just because your horse knows, okay, I need to be gentle with kids, does not mean that he's not going to pull some of that crazy shit if a mare started walking past. Okay, if your horse is ever doing stuff like this with you, especially if it's regularly, like it seems to be for this horse, no 8-year-old, 11-year-old, or 84-year-old grandmother should ever be handling your horse. Okay, it's just so incredibly risky. It is so dangerous. My horse right now, she doesn't even do stuff like that, but she occasionally bolts. We're working on it. She throws some little tantrums. They're nothing like what this horse does. I'm not even super comfortable just handing her to one of my horse friends for a minute because I don't know what she might do if a potential stressor passed us. You have to be aware in those moments. You have to know what your horse's limits are. You have to know what your horse's behavior is, and you do know, you just for some reason seem to be ignorant to the fact that he is potentially a safety risk. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to geld him, but at the very least it does mean that you have to train him. A horse being a stallion does not exclude them from having to have proper training or proper manners. And you shouldn't be letting an 8-year-old or an 11-year-old or a grandma handle this horse when he's pulling shit like this, where he's almost causing you severe bodily harm. I am seriously hoping that no one has ever been injured by this horse. I'm seriously hoping that you've never been injured by this horse, and I hope that no one is ever injured by this horse. Again, it's not about the horse. It's not the horse's fault. It's the person who does not seem to care. Honestly, at this point, I'm pretty sure that this person just rage baits because she's been corrected several times on what a well-trained, well-behaved stallion is. It's frustrating to me because she posts videos saying this is how to handle the horse in this situation. This is what a well-behaved stallion is. That's not true. Don't let people like this brainwash you with this kind of information because it is dangerous. Again, I say this is the danger of having a platform, and this is the responsibility of having a platform. You have thousands of followers. When you have thousands of people who are consuming your content and most likely going to you for advice, you have a responsibility to be giving them what you believe to be the best possible information. Rage baiting and consistently posting information like this very much goes against that. And if you believe what you're sharing to be 100% the truth, then there is a serious lack of knowledge and a serious lack of education in the arena of horse training, and I would suggest that you start learning a little bit more. Again, this is not meant to be hate towards this person whatsoever in any shape or form. I'm not saying that she's a bad person. I'm not saying anything like that, but what I'm saying is that she does have a responsibility with the platform that she has, and I think she is taking advantage of that. I also think that it is incredibly harmful to be spreading misinformation about stallions in this way. Anyways, I'm sure there's a lot more that I could cover, but quite frankly, I'm starting to get a little bit heated, so I think I need to go cuddle my dog and chill for a minute. I'm also staring at the window at what it almost looks to be a blizzard, and I'm thinking I maybe need to tell my trainer to not get in her car because she used to drive from like an hour away, and I don't think the roads are going to be pretty good. Oh God, do I have to blanket my horse today? I might. That's a pain when you can't get your horse inside. See, I have my own problems, okay? We all got our own problems. It is not a matter of whether or not your horse has problems. Everyone's horse has problems, and that's okay. Does your horse have serious behavioral issues? Yes, mine does too. But what matters is that you're working on it and that you're transparent about it, okay? If you're posting it online, you have to acknowledge that certain parts of their behavior is not optimal. I definitely don't market my horse's behavioral issues as how a well-trained Percheron mare should be. Anyways, we've been over it. I gotta go. I gotta figure some stuff out, and I gotta go try to bring my heart rate down, although with the POTS that's never really happening. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know by leaving a like or a comment. If you did enjoy this video, then you should also click subscribe so that you can see more future videos coming out like this. If you have a video you would like me to react to, you can send it to katskreatures.kw@gmail.com. That email will also be in the description, and it is also located in my bio over at my channel, so you can find it there. All of the socials are linked below as well as in the bio, so you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. You can also find my dog on Instagram. And until I see you in the next video, please remember to think critically.